All right, good morning, traders. Today is January 23rd, 2025. My name is John Kerrigan. I moderate the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. My SPY pivot this morning, 606.88. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. All of the Fab 5 except for Diamond Dow in daily uptrends. SPY, Diamond Dow, FNGU, QQQ all made higher lows and higher highs, closing over bullish traps over their 17 EMAs. IWM made an inside day closing over a bullish trap over the 17. SPY closed with a 2-hour uptrend, but a 10-minute downtrend. Gold and silver both in daily uptrends. Gold made higher low and a higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17. Silver made an outside day. It's a higher high and a lower low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17. UNG, USO both in daily uptrends. USO made lower high and a lower low, closing under a bullish trap, but over the 17. UNG made a higher low and a higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17. US dollar index still in an uptrend, closed near the 108.28 area. All right, let's go take a look at some charts this morning. And start off with SPY. All right, let's pick up a clean chart. Let's go to the 10-minute. Let's see what we got going on here. All right, you can see into the close. That's the shaded section here. We have a 10-minute downtrend. So what I'm looking for is a continuation of the downtrend. All right, maybe to fill this gap right through here, okay? Looking for a continuation. Now, keep in mind the daily chart, the 2-hour chart, the monthly chart, the weekly chart are all in uptrends, okay? This downtrend may fail, all right? Now, I'm looking at yesterday's candle, all right? And I'm seeing this candle that has way more wick than body and tail, okay? Telling me kind of sellers were operating up there, all right? So we got kind of like, we could see what Malcolm says is a balancing going on where we could get some consolidation. Just saying that. So I'm seeing sellers operate in this area, all right? So let's put a little line up there so we can see what's going on, okay? So you can see right over these bodies right here, we got a whole lot of wicks. Got a wick, another wick, another wick. Wicks show you where sellers are operating, all right? So we had some sellers operating up here. So probably going to consolidate underneath here, all right? And then finally break out, okay? Like I said, kind of hot. Need to see this cool off some, all right? Consolidation would be nice. Maybe they consolidate here. Maybe they pull back to the 8 and begin a consolidation pattern there. We'll see how low they go. And it's very possible that with this, I'm going to call it a presidential rally, that price continues to go higher and make a new all-time high. We'll see what happens, all right? There's the daily chart, okay? Higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap, over a hooking 17 EMA right there. Okay, let's take a look at the 2-hour chart. 2-hour chart, as you can see, still got that 2-hour uptrend going into the close there. Okay, so like I said, we got conflicting information at this time. Not really conflicting, but we have signs of top up here. All right, and so we could see some rest before we continue higher. All right, so 2-hour uptrend, daily uptrend, and weekly uptrend, monthly uptrend. All right, so we got a lot of uptrends going, especially on the bigger time frames. All right, so we could just see like a rest today. All right, that would be normal. All right, so it's really tough because we're really not bearish enough to go short. All right, but we are at a top where sellers operated before. Okay, so for me, I'm going to play the 10-minute trend, all right, realizing that eventually they're going to find a bottom or a place where they find support We'll see what happens, all right? So want some follow through on that 10-minute downtrend, probably back to this area right through here, which it looks like you can see they kind of catching, all right, in the pre-market on that 8 EMA on the 2-hour chart. See how we got kind of gap down into there, and we got bullish right off of that 8 EMA. So it's possible they could rubber band all the way back up to the highs today. We'll see what happens. All right, I'll play that 10-minute downtrend if they give it to me, all right, until it ends. That's it. Probably going to be a chop day. All right, we'll see what happens. All right, so there's SPY. On the game plan, let's take a look at the game plan. The pivot, all right, is, you can see where price goes up and comes away from it, gets on top of it, comes back to this area. So my pivot this morning, 606.88. Okay, above it, above all of these peaks right in here on the 5-minute, above those peaks, 607.81. Probably can move this down just a little bit, maybe right about there. Okay, 607.70. All right, over 607.70. I'll be looking to take a long. Okay, so I'll change that right now. 607.70, 607.70. Okay, so I'm looking for a long over, price over 607.70. All right, I like one DTE. Okay, that's options that expire tomorrow. All right, I like them on Friday because it's more open interest. Okay, so either one DTE or 8 DTEs or 15 DTE, Friday options. That's what I like. Okay, so the pivot, 606.88. All right, the bullish entry, 607.70. All right, price action down the low side, looking for a continuation of the downtrend. All right, so looking for a red candle to come down here and test the bottom of the open gap. All right, so red candle, got to be a decent red candle. It can't be a bottoming wick, a bottoming tail candle. All right, I don't want a candle that has more tail than body and wick. All right, I don't want a doji candle because that tells me that bulls and bears are agreeing on the price. All right, so I don't want a doji. I don't want a bottoming tail. I don't want a green candle because that tells me that the bulls dominated that 10-minute segment. Okay, so I'm looking for a decent red candle on the downside as a continuation of the 10-minute downtrend. Let's look at what we got up here, okay, on the 5-minute chart or the 10-minute. You could go either one. Got ourselves a little triple top. Top, top, top. All right, so kind of probably going to fade back till we find support. Where we find support will be interesting. Might be at 600. All right, just saying it might be at 600. Look, the 10-day ATR, all right, is 638. Okay, we closed yesterday about 606.88. So it will be normal to maybe pull back a full ATR back to 600.58, something like that. All right, so we'll see what happens. All right. Again, we're going to play the trends. All right, if we got a 10-minute downtrend and we break through this little support here, we'll look for it to come down and fill gap. All right, and if they put in a lower high, well, then we'll look for it to come down and make a lower low. All right, that's the way we're going to play it. Okay, or we're going to trade it. So that right there is the SPY game plan for this morning. We'll see, all right? They've been pretty bullish lately, all right? We could wind up seeing them right back up here at 607.70. That is a possibility, all right? So we'll see. All right, so let's go over and check out QQQ. Okay, just remember we are operating in an area of daily resistance, all right? I'm going to just a reminder. I know I said it earlier. Okay, we are operating in an area of daily resistance. See the wick, The wick, see the little wicks here? Okay, see the bearish engulfings? Okay, so we're operating in an area of prior resistance here. Okay, so we don't know how far it's going to go. We'll see what happens. Right now, candles up over the bullish trap, over the hooking 17 EMA. All right, let's take a look at QQQ. All right, QQQ, daily candle, higher low, higher high. Notice QQQ finally made a higher high here. That put them in an uptrend, all right? See the high over the 17 right here? Got a little peak right there, all right? So we made a higher high. So they negated the downtrend because they were making lower highs and lower lows, lower high, lower low, and then they came back and made a higher high, okay, than this one right here. So they negate the downtrend and convert the uptrend. So they're now in an uptrend. Same with SPY. Okay, so there's QQQ. Let's take a look at the game plan for QQQ. All right, we're going to scoot down to the 5-minute. Okay, here's the pivot. It's where price came up to this area, came back and tested it, came back down, tested this area, tested, then we kind of slipped through right there. So we got a 10-minute downtrend into the close. Yeah, 10-minute downtrend into the close, looking for continuation. All right, so price under 529.22. All right, I'm looking for a bearish entry. Right now, they're kind of holding this area, so we might want to move that down just underneath that, 528.69. All right, maybe underneath 529. So I'm looking for a candle that's going to break away. Looking for a candle. I want to see price action under VWAP, and I want to see it break away from VWAP. If it's hanging out at VWAP for too long, okay, it's not going to work. I'm not going to say it's not going to work, but I mean, I'm just saying we want to see price break away from VWAP. That's when we make our money, is when price breaks away from VWAP, either to the upside or to the downside. Okay, so underneath 529.22 or underneath 528.74, that's going to be a bearish entry. Like I said, we have a 10-minute downtrend. I will be looking for a continuation candle. Again, no bottoming tail candles, no doji candles, and no green candles on that 10-minute downtrend. And we can get an inverse head and shoulders. Well, actually, just a regular head and shoulders, not an inverse. Head here, left shoulder, right shoulder. Looking for the right arm to continue down to where the left arm left off right here. Okay, that would be the breakup candle low right there. Okay, that would be 524.23. We'll see what happens. All right, so there's the QQQ 10-minute game plan for this morning. Okay, price up over the bodies right through here, over 533.35. Looking to get bullish. All right, on the downside, again, I'm looking for that continuation of a started 10-minute downtrend there. Notice the bulls didn't come in at the last minute and rally it back up. All right, yesterday on SPY, look at QQQ. All right, they were bullish here. Why did they stop? All right, was it the triple top? We'll see. All right, they stopped. I mean, they could have rallied it into the close right back up to the highs. They were doing great. All right, they broke away from VWAP, but then they faded back. Then they held it over VWAP, okay? But then they faded through. All right, so kind of looking like we might fade a little bit lower today. All right, so there's QQQ. Let's take a look at a couple of the other sectors. All right, let's start with, not sectors, but indexes, IWM. All right, IWM on a 10-minute chart. Okay, IWM, this is yesterday's candle, lower high, higher low, inside day, closing over the trap over the 17 EMA. All right, closing actually over the all-time high anchored VWAP there. All right, so that was bullish, but they're not being able to hold it. That's not so bullish. Okay, they broke this high, so that put them in an uptrend when they broke this high right here over the 17. All right, so they broke that high, so that put them in an uptrend. They were in a downtrend, and they just negated it by breaking this high that poked over the 17. So there's IWM in an uptrend right now, closing in the neutral area. All right, remember they went up and they gave it up. If they get it back up here in the upper third or up in quadrant 4, we could look at them as neutral bullish or even bullish up here. So just neutral area, kind of neutral bullish, leaning on the bullish side of the 50-yard line or the midpoint here. So we'll see what happens. All right, right now having a little pullback in the morning. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Diamond Dow, looking what we got here. Okay, another candle showing kind of a pause. So we could see consolidation today. Could be chop. All right, just a warning right now. Okay, look at that. See bulls and bears operating and agreeing on price right at this area. Okay, got higher low, higher high, closing over the trap over the 17. Now, notice Diamond Dow didn't put any candles up over the 17 here as a peak. So this is just a pullback in the downtrend for me. All right, other people look at it different, and that's fine. All right, so Diamond Dow, higher low, higher high, closing over the trap over the hooking 17, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, up in quadrant 4. Still bullish. All right, so bullish on Diamond Dow being up here. Now I like to see them, nice little rally, like to see them cool off, hold this area. All right, kind of hold this area bullishly, and then get back up here and re-challenge the head of this head and shoulders that's forming. We have a left shoulder formed. We have a head that's formed. Got the possible right shoulder forming here. We'll see. Now they could just, have a little pullback and then rip up even further. We'll see what happens. All right. Right now they're saying we're pausing. All right. So there's Diamond Dow. Let's take a look at last one, FNGU. And then we'll go look at our technicals. Another candle here with way more wick than body and tail. Okay, telling me bears were operating up here. Bears dominated that day for the most part. It was a gap up, but they dominated this section of the day right here. Okay, so price action, higher low, higher high, closing over the trap, over the 17, up in quadrant 4, over the downtrend line, and over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Just going to take this off. Really don't need this. Just confusing. Same as this one here. We all know where the midpoint is. And I'm just going to extend this. All right. So over the downtrend line, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, that is bullish. Big gap up. Probably going to need to consolidate and cool off. All right, we'll see what happens. FNGU on the daily chart. All right, let's go take a look at our technicals. T2122, we spent the day in the buy zone. All right, that's bullish up there. Let's take a look at T2123, and we look at price action, a gap up. Okay, see all these gap ups? That's bullish. Gapping up and holding the higher ground. Bears failing to fill the gap here, showing some weakness. Failing to fill these bullish gaps. All right, they're getting overrun by bulls when you see this gap up and then we hold it. We gap up and then we grind up and hold it. Gapping up, that's bullish right there. Gapping up and holding it. That's why I'm saying, even though we got the daily candles like a big topping wick, we do have signs of bullishness still left in the market with all of these gap up and holds. Gap up and hold. Gap up and hold. All right? Bears are just failing to fill these gaps. All right, we'll see. We're all the way back up at the prior all-time high anchored VWAP. We got two of them. We got one here and we got one here. We got the dark one and the light one. Okay, so we had the rubber band effect coming off of this one, and we got shot up through the falling 200 SMA. That's a falling 200 SMA. We shot back up to the other one, all right, the other prior all-time high. Okay, these aren't the all-time high. These are just prior all-time highs. All-time high is up here. Okay, right up there. See where that flat green line is right there? That's where the all-time high is. Okay, so what do I want to see? For the bulls, well, I want to see consolidation. All right, I want to see further consolidation up here and hold this higher ground, particularly over the prior all-time high right there. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, so we got price action up here and holding. They gapped up and hold. That's bullish. All right, after a triple top, like to see them hold. Got a little triple top, 1, 2, 3, quadruple top. So look like they're going to stick it right there. Okay, so there's T21, 23, 15-minute chart. We're going to go to the same product, but on a 3-bar chart. Okay, same product. Notice we're going from green to red. Cut down through the flat 200 SMA. Find a little support on a prior all-time high. All right, melt through after a bear flag. All right, make a lower low down here. Okay, and then we get the rubber band effect where price slings back up through that prior all-time high, the white one, and back up to the dark one, the other prior all-time high, turning the candles from red to green. All right, so yesterday 3 more green candle bars up here. So like to see consolidation right through here and then a move up. All right, if they want to move up, I'm fine with that too, but I like to see them consolidate at least on the north side of this prior all-time high. 200, simply flat right through here. Okay, eventually they're going to go back and forth around it, and they're going to get a catch. We'll see what happens. FNGU yesterday, green from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. Again, we gapped up and held the higher ground. Again, notice we're on the north side of this downtrend line. It would be normal for price to pull back and test the backside and then J-hook off of it to go higher. We'll see what happens. So there's FNGU on the 15-minute. So they went up, made a peak, and kind of melted back. All right, let's go take a look at XLE and the energy sectors. All right, so we'll start off with XLE. All right, here's our energy sector. I said it was kind of hot, needed to cool off. All right, and it's doing a little cooling right now. All right, we are on the north side of the all-time high anchored VWAP from 2024. Okay, they've been up there 4 or 5 days. That is bullish, holding that ground over that. We are looking at a head and shoulders pattern with a left shoulder here and a right shoulder there. All right, they would have to break through this neckline area down here to go lower, I would think. All right, so there's XLE. I don't think that's going to happen, but anything is possible. Okay, so I'd like to see maybe price pull back to the all-time high anchored VWAP, which is the pink line, and maybe J-hook off of it. Maybe they might have to come back to the midpoint and then J-hook off of that. We'll see what happens. On the daily chart, a little cooling off. That is a nice, looks like a 20-day run back up to quadrant 4 and the upper third. All right. Price still in a downtrend. Believe it or not, they never got a higher peak over the 17 here. All right. So this is a steep pullback in a downtrend. Again, it's just a label. All right. It's in a daily downtrend still. Chances are they're going to put in a lower high. They're going to put in a higher low. And then they're going to rally up and take out that high. All right? But all of that's probably going to take a couple weeks to happen. All right? So watch for the higher low and 51% retracement from this high to the higher low. We'll see what happens here. This is XLE. Technically in a downtrend, but acting quite bullish. All right, we are up over the all-time high anchored VWAP, and we've been up there for 5 days. That's bullish. All right, not it. We lost. We were in the upper third, no longer in the upper third. All right, but still bullish up there. We're on the northern side of the midpoint, and we're up over the all-time high anchored VWAP. So there's the daily chart for XLE. Let's take a look at UNG. UNG had a good day yesterday. Higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Not quite in the upper third or in quadrant 4. Simply bullish, neutral bullish over the midpoint here. This is my buy box. I'd like to see a pullback here. Might be difficult being since 17 has already passed through it. We'll see what happens here. UNG in an uptrend, making higher lows and higher highs. Take a look at USO. USO in an uptrend, making higher lows and higher highs. See right here, we have a high, made a higher high up there. Price action for yesterday, lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish bullish trap or a bearish cross, and over the 17 EMA up in quadrant 4, that's bullish. Okay, let's take a look at silver and gold, both in uptrends, by the way, daily uptrends. Price action, making a higher low and a higher high, that's an uptrend. Price action for yesterday, outside day, higher high, lower low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Silver in a daily uptrend, again, it's just a label. Okay, still caught underneath this 12-year high anchored VWAP. All right, so price action, again, over the 17, that's bullish. Over the midpoint, that's bullish. All right, so just kind of neutral right here on silver. All right, like to see them get up on top of here and hold. That would be a nice bullish sign. They are in a daily uptrend. We'll see what happens. All right, GLD did really well yesterday. Look at the doji candle. Higher low, higher high, closing over the trap, over the 17, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. It's been up here for more than 5 days. Look, 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, 5 day, 5 days, and look what happens. Big bullish hop off of 250 all the way up to 255, right along this shoulders of this little mini head and shoulders right here. See that? Right up to those shoulders. Okay, so there's gold on the daily chart in an uptrend and bullish, closing over the all-time high. All right, let's take a look at SMH. SMH, higher low, higher high. Guess what? They were in a downtrend. They just negated that yesterday because they made a higher high and converted the uptrend. Higher high, higher low, closing over the trap, over the 17, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's bullish. XLK. Guess what XLK did yesterday? New all-time high for XLK. All right? They were in a downtrend. They just took out this high, negated the downtrend, converted the uptrend, and made a new all-time high yesterday. So this is the new all-time high for XLK yesterday. Price action, higher low, higher high, closing over the trap, over the 17, okay? There are pockets of really good bullishness in this market. Let's take a look at XLF. Okay, XLF, notice nothing over the 17. All right, now we're over the 17. So we don't have an uptrend, but we never had a downtrend because we never broke this low. All right, never broke this low. So price action has always been in an uptrend. All right, so XLF. Now we're getting a pullback in the downtrend. We'll see what happens. Okay, it did take it out over this peak. We'll see what happens. Price action currently over the all-time high anchored VWAP. We've got 3 to 5 days over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Price action closed over the bullish trap, over the hooking 17, up in quadrant 4. That is bullish. And think about it. They are not far from the all-time high up here. Okay? Just look at where price was yesterday, 50.50. And the all-time high is up here, looking like 51.65. I mean, so just $1.25 away from taking out the all-time highs. And that's bullish. All right, so still in an uptrend here. That's XLF. Let's take a look at XLI, industrials. Industrials still in a downtrend, just having a pullback. But closing over the bullish trap, over the 17, it's a sharp pullback, closing up in quadrant 4, retaking the lost ground. All right, so we'll see if they can hold it this time. All right, so that's bullish up there in quadrant 4 for XLI. All right, still in the label of downtrend. XLU. All right, XLU took out this peak. Notice it comes up over the 17, making a higher high. That's an uptrend. Price action yesterday, lower high, lower low, closing in the bullish trap over the hooking 17, over the all-time high anchored VWAP there, okay? Again, it's a label. It's an uptrend. Closing in the upper third, that's bullish. Big red candle, not so much. Let's take a look at XRT. This is our retail sector. Moving up and giving it up. Still in an uptrend with a horrendous pullback here. So just neutral on XRT. All right, got to get back into the upper third. Got to get on the other side of this 17 that's falling. We are obeying the uptrend line. This probably could go here or a little there. So we are still in that uptrend right through here. We'll see what happens. Can they catch on this uptrend and make it back up here into quadrant 4? Notice they're no longer in the upper third. They're no longer in the upper quadrant here. They are up over the all-time high anchored VWAP, which was made in 2021. So that's a 3-year high anchored VWAP. By nature or character of this, it is a move up and over to the right. That is a bull flag breakout that is pulling back to the base. All right, now sometimes when they pull back to the base, they bounce off the base and go twice as high. So watch for that to happen on XRT. Let's take a look at the last one, IYT. Then we're going to hit the economic package. The economic package. All right, IYT over the 17 here. Converts, negates the downtrend, converts the uptrend. On the daily chart yesterday, higher low, higher high, closing over the trap, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, and over the hooking 17 EMA there. So there's IYT climbing back into the upper third, into the upper quadrant there. That's bullish right there on IYT. So we could see some chop in SPY. All right, we got pockets of bullishness, especially in utilities and the transports, all right, and tech, all right, but other stuff, not so much. All right, so we'll see what happens. Got signs of price getting tired. All right, let's take a look at the economic package, and we'll wrap this up. Economic package, dollar still in a daily uptrend, all right? Higher lows, higher highs, higher low, higher high, okay? Still just kind of bull flagging over here. Closed near 108.28 area, right up there. All right, so still in an uptrend. All right, on the earnings calendar, this morning, which would be Thursday, okay, Intuitive Surgical, $208 billion, they report tonight. GE, $194 billion, they're going to report this morning. All right, Texas Instruments, there's some tech, $170 billion, they're going to report tonight. Union Pacific, there's some railways going to report this morning, $142 billion. And some familiar names, you can see them, Freeport-McMoRan, Northern Trust, McCormick, all right, but they're not really market movers, but they could really help out their sectors. Okay, so we'll see that. That's for today. Yesterday, who reported? Procter & Gamble reported in the morning, J&J reported in the morning, Abbott Labs reported in the morning, Progressive looks like they held off. GE reported in the morning. Lee Iacocca right there. It looks like they held off on theirs as well. And you can see right there. So that's about it for yesterday. Tomorrow, American Express, 219 billion. They're going to report tomorrow morning. Verizon, there's some communication, 161 billion. They're going to report tomorrow morning. NextEra Energy, 146 billion. They're going to report tomorrow morning. Okay, don't forget tomorrow, options expiration. All right, on Monday, what do we got? We've got AT&T, 157 billion. They're going to report in the morning. All right, so nothing really big. I think the big boys are reporting next week or the week after. You got, thanks to Judy, we got FOMC scheduled for Wednesday. So we'll see what happens. We're going to get some announcement, maybe some minutes, maybe some data anyways, some inflationary data and some news from the FOMC. Open interest, max pain. Let's see what we got for today. Okay, yesterday was 600. We didn't go anywhere near it. Today, max pain is 605. I think we will hit that today. 1.5 puts for every call that expired today. All right. On the economic calendar, jobless claims at 8:30, gas report at 10:30, and that's it. Tomorrow, existing homes at 10, consumer sentiment at 10. All right, a rig count at 1. So really light week. I said it's a light week. If the bulls want to make a run to the north side, this would be the week to do it with very little economic data to crush their spirit. All right, so there's the earnings. We did the dollar. We did the max pain, and there's the economic calendar. All right, traders, I'll be back in about 40 minutes, and we'll kick off the market. If you got a question, drop them in there. Hey, good morning, Rick. Good morning, Donna. Good to see everybody. Thank you, Alan. Appreciate that. CJ, I really like the quad lines. Show D1 where positioning is. Midline shows right. Yeah, bullish bearish. Yep, that's the that would be the 50-yard line. Mid-court, midfield. All depends on which sport you follow. All right, traders, give me 40 minutes. Let me render my video, get my stuff posted, and we'll start the market.